Hey, good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. How are you doing? I hope well as we begin this day. 73 right now. Almost kind of pleasant. Not as good as some of those 64 days we had, but I'm not going to complain yet. We'll leave that to this afternoon, won't we? Woo, y'all get ready. 97, heat index of 106 is on the way to your home where you are. It's going to be hot, but the good news is we do have a chance of showers this afternoon. Maybe it'll wet some stuff. Put some of these folks that don't have to respond to Highway 80 West anymore with that fire that just keeps coming back. They had to go back out again this morning. It's getting to be a routine thing. We need rain and we need it bad. We got several chances of it toward the weekend. We got your total forecast coming up in a few moments, and we'll give you the breakdown of that. Can't get enough of that. We need just a little bit there to help out things. Charlotte, how are you today? James is with us. Scuba, Mississippi. My home for umpteen dozen years it was. I think we arrived there in 1850, if I remember correctly. Said there was a railroad coming, so we moved over. Good morning to Stevie, Chuck. Good to see each and every one of y'all. We'll be right back with headlines that are shaping America. Boy, there's a lot of stories out there. We'll go over some of those. Join us, won't you? Right now, let's shake all this off and get a good word. Let's go to Collinsville, to the First Baptist Church.
You know, it doesn't take a breaking news headline on your favorite news station to learn that people can be so mean. They name call and mock. They laugh at others' pain. They respond with sarcasm and berate people and even yell. They exclude, manipulate, bully, destroy. They troll, harass, attack, abuse. I mean, we could go on and on, couldn't we? But know this, they'll not go unpunished. Proverbs 17:5 says, whoever mocks the poor insults his maker. He who is glad at calamity will not go unpunished. So when people mistreat and mock others, they actually insult God because it was God who made that person. And God doesn't take that lightly. He'll avenge himself. And the one who's happy and laughs at another person's pain, how awful is that? I mean, what a hard heart that is. He who does that should be trembling in fear because what he sows, he shall reap. God will bring that same thing back on their head. He who sows scorn shall reap scorn, and he who sows hurt will reap hurt. God will not let them go unpunished. Being mean certainly harms other people, but in the end, it harms yourself. Choose kindness, choose compassion, choose love. That'll not only change the lives of those around you who are struggling, but it'll change your life as well. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Don't forget they'll be having Wednesday evening services, and most likely if that's too far for you to drive, there's a church probably within 10 to 12 miles of where you live. Usually a lot closer. This is the South. Good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. If you've never joined us before, welcome as we bring you headlines from across America and a few local stories at 7, and we'll have your weather forecast here in just a moment to get your day started right for you. Drive careful where you are. Don't forget school buses are rolling this morning. We've seen a string of these happening. Started out with John Deere. We would see Tractor Supply and a few other companies start to backtrack on what they put out there. What happened to the days to where you could go buy you a bag of feed and seed or a tractor part and not have to worry about how they think politically? Now, we've got another store that is backtracking. I'm talking Lowe's, where you go to get your 2x4s and things of that nature. They're backing down on those policies, those DEI policies, diversity, equity, inclusion policies. They're changing those and backing off of them after customers said we'll quit coming. John Deere was one of the first that had to change that. They came out in a big way and they backtracked. Again, we need to keep these things separate. You go to work, not to be preached at and to learn how to say they, them, and all of that mess. My thoughts on that. We'll get more into this coming up at 7 a.m. on a local level of a threat that was made to a school. We see where a 15-year-old has been charged with the same threat against a high school. This was in Maryland. 15 years old. It doesn't matter the age that you do this. We live in a time that these are taken very seriously due to things that have happened in the past and last 15 years. Terroristic threats, they will not be taken lightly anymore. Whether it's a prank or not, you will be charged. Keep this in mind. And we'll tell you what has happened in the last few hours from here in Meridian, Mississippi, beginning at 7. Don't miss that story. That's up and coming. What else is happening today? Let's see here. We got a guy, and safety, safety, safety. It's almost as if this was done on purpose, is what we're hearing. We'll go to California. They've arrested someone, Northern California is where it happened. They're saying it's arson. A guy was driving his blue Toyota car down the road and fired a firework out the window, discharged it, caught the woods on fire. Police and investigators are saying that it was on purpose. 26 homes burned and thousands of acres and businesses. He's in deep at this point. This is bad but good in the end as we go also in the state of California. Yesterday morning as we were all getting up dressed in our neighborhoods, whether you're in Tennessee, if you're in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, where you're watching us from, over in California around 7:30 yesterday morning, a school bus was traveling along and a car struck it head on. Car caught on fire, and fortunately, it ended up just being minor injuries on both parts. They were able to get the person out of the car and all the kids off the school bus before it completely burned. Isn't that good? Sometimes you've got to give thanks for something bad that turned out good. As we all know, that could have been a whole different story, as it often is. It's about time for this. And most of us, I see one or two occasionally here in the state of Mississippi, the mask thing, to where people wear them. For a while there, you could wear it to a bank and not have to worry about it. And I always scratched my head and thought, how could you allow that? New York, one of the first states now that is banning masks over the face. They made their first arrest in it this week in New York. States like this, it's where they've backed down on crime and they tell you that you can shoplift and it's a misdemeanor, and then they try to enforce other laws. It's hard to, what is the word I'm looking for? It's like you don't really mean it. Oh, sure, you're going to stop me for wearing a mask, but I can go steal $1,000 and nothing happens. I can be turned loose in 3 minutes. So the scales of justice are not weighing out here. Whoever runs our country needs to straighten all this out. We certainly hope that it will be one day. And it's got to start on a local level, folks. Careful with your votes. Wherever you're watching me from, in a small town that has 1,500 to 3,000 people, or a city that's got 1 million, 2 million people in it, make sure you cast your vote wisely, whether it's the city council or your mayor, because that's where it all kind of begins, and then it spreads to the state level and then corruption in Washington. Make sure you got somebody that's good representing you. Good values. That's what we need there. We see that they're still on this after 4 years of the January 6th, and they call it a breach. They call it several things. The guy that they got on camera that came across the table first has just been sentenced to 4 years in prison. Anybody listen to rap? I don't know much about it. Somebody named Little Baby. They have different names. Country has Billy Ray. He's scary. Lately, have y'all seen Billy Ray? The hair, what went on? It's down to here. Little Baby's been arrested in Vegas for a concealed firearm charge. If you were going to it. He wasn't wearing a diaper. I could see Odie over there thinking that. But he's been charged with a firearm charge for carrying a concealed one. I think he got detained and didn't make it to his show that night. That sort of messed up the plans there. Let's see, West Virginia. Oh, boy, this is bad. As we go there, football practice, as we all know, is starting now. We'll start having Friday night lights before long. We see that a West Virginia 8th grader has died from injuries sustained in football practice. Our hearts, our prayers go out to his family. How awful could this be? 8th grade, lost her life during football practice. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers as you go about your day. No one seemed to notice the ladder the guy was toting as he went into the Trump rally, or either the backpack or the drone that he was using. And they've I'm not making this up, y'all. I'm really not. Now they've determined that the air conditioning unit helped him get on top of the building. As no one was watching that building, some 130 yards from a former president. Whew, we got issues in this country, y'all. I don't care if that was Gerald Ford, if it was Bill Clinton, if it was Obama. That should have never, ever happened. The office of the presidency is a very, very high office. It should be respected, whoever was there. I know Ford wasn't the greatest, or as I used him as an example, but he was a president. This should have been never happened that way. It was almost if security was, it's okay, we don't care. It just wasn't looked at properly. And thankfully, the person that was in charge of that is no longer there. Whether you like Biden or not, he has to be protected, and he should be protected after he leaves office. He was a sitting president. We have to protect our own, and I certainly hope that the Secret Service gets their act together. I don't know the person that they've put in temporarily. I'm sure that they'll be renamed pretty soon as an election is starting. But whoever it is, I hope they have common sense. We need that in a lot of these jobs. We hate it when a police officer goes bad. We hate that. New York City, a correction officer has been arrested for posing as a TV producer. And you can only imagine after posing what he did. He raped a girl. He's been arrested. It's not going to be pleasant where he's going. We all know that that's not a good thing to everyone to know when you go to jail. We don't know a lot about this. I'm assuming we go to Atlanta. 2 airport workers have died from injuries at work. Something, an explosion, some type, happened at a Delta airline. Now, I don't know whether it was a tire that maybe the ground crew was next to that exploded. We don't know. They haven't released any of those details yet. I think one employee was like 38, the other in his 50s. We have compassion, and we think of their family members with this unexpected death. One was from Noonan, Georgia, and one was from the Stone Mountain area. That's all we know at this point so far. Hopefully today they will release more information on that. If you work around aeroplanes, y'all be careful. You just don't know what will happen. No matter what you're doing, forklifts, whole 9 yards, y'all pay attention. Let's see here. A dam in Minnesota that had some cracks they're going to tear down for safety reasons. Going to rebuild that in Minnesota if you happen to live there. I don't know much about Minnesota. I'm sure we have some people that drop by and visit our show from there, but I just don't know a whole lot about it. Let's see. This happened back in 2015. And you can only imagine a judge sitting there. You have someone in front of you, and you keep looking at them going, well, you look familiar. And the judge finally goes, are you so-and-so from such and such high school? And the guy goes, yeah. And the judge said, well, you were a classmate of mine. Gave him a little bit lighter sentence, told him corrected, and he made it a little while. He's back in jail now. And it went viral, that video did, of him crying in front of the judge. Knocked on a door, acted as though he was a home inspector. Another time he knocked on the door and acted as if he were a plumber, came into their home, stole items, and ran out the front door. He has been arrested again. The moral of that story is there's some people, no matter how you try, you can't help them unless they want to help themselves. And in many cases, criminals are that way. They don't want to be helped. You know why? They don't want to work. They don't want to get up like you do every single morning before daylight, find a pair of work boots. Maybe it's a suit that you wear. Whatever it is that you wear to your work, you work hard at it every day, and you go when you don't want to. Why? Because you've got responsibilities in life, and you do it every single day. That's the American way. That's what we do to take care of our families. And then people like this that don't want to do that want to take part of your dream. It ain't right, and I hope he gets his due when it comes before the next judge. We'll be right back as we'll get into that forecast next before I get carried away and I talk for the next 30 minutes about what I think. We don't need that, do we? We'll be right back as we'll get your day underway with your forecast.
CF Moto has arrived at Meridian Cycles. Come see us at 80 Highway 19 North or give us a call at 601-485-8700.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
And welcome back. Our record highs and record lows 24 years ago today, it was 103 degrees. Can anyone believe 2000 was 24 years ago? Where has time gone? That's the fastest 20 years I've ever seen. Back in 52 on this date, we had a low of 56 degrees as you were getting up. Now today, here's that nasty forecast. And I call it nasty because it says hot. 97 on that forecast. We'll have a bigger chance of rain in the Hattiesburg area, but if you'll notice here through Newton County, Lauderdale County, at least up to, we're going to put this up, not quite to NAS Meridian, a few miles shy of that on 39 chances of rain, even out to Tumsuba. But bigger chances below us, 40% chance in Meridian area. We'll see 99 there in Columbus. Look at Greenwood up in the Delta. 101 today. As we move east into Bama, about 97 to 98 is what we'll see from here to Birmingham, and about 95 over in Troy as you get near Dothan, Alabama. Those are the likelihood of those temps. As we look at the fire conditions for today, now north of us, all of you folks that are in Winston County, if you're watching from Macon area, anywhere along there in Knoxville, northward toward Columbus Air Force Base, fire danger. Don't burn, hold off. We got a little bit of possible rain in the lower portion of Mississippi and East Mississippi, but no burn should be happening up there. Winston County does have a burn ban. Here's that heat stress it takes in Kemper County, Philadelphia. Y'all welcome to the party as we look at this. We're going to have some hot weather today as we look at from 11 until 6 is what we're expecting. They pushed this back an hour. Normally it starts around 10. It's going to be around 11 today to 6 p.m., our hottest peaks of the day. Work early or work late, whichever you can do. Now, as we move forward to look at tomorrow, we'll have more of this through Thursday. Timing tomorrow, they're moving it back to 10 a.m., 10 to 6 tomorrow, but hot, near 105 tomorrow. As we look at this heat stress moving all the way toward to the weekend, look at this. Friday, it's going to be hot, so more of this to come. As we look at our 7-day forecast, we've got a little bit of cooler temperature moving. Look at this, back in Texas. Hopefully that'll stay with us. If we looked at our forecast here in just a moment, we'll show you some 80-degree weather that's going to come out of that. As we see today, it's somewhere between 96 to 97, increasing from a 40% chance of rain today to 50 tomorrow on Thursday. 94 for the high tomorrow. Friday, we still hold steady at a 40% chance of rain, and those temperatures kind of level out in the mid-90s over the weekend. 30% chance Saturday and Sunday. Monday, we get bigger chances of rain, of a 50% chance, 60% on Tuesday, and this is when we start seeing that 80-degree weather. 88 on Tuesday of next week, and as we move forward, look at this. By the 4th of September, 82. Now, again, it's about the rain, but boy, that's going to be nice. We have several chances of rain those days. It'll almost feel like fall. Can't wait, can y'all? I like that time of the year. It's kind of perfect. As we look at that fishing forecast for today, looks like a major time is going to be this morning around 8:30 until 10:30. It'll be late for your next time around 9 p.m. tonight. Slight chance of good fishing there around 5 p.m. But your best is this morning, 8:30 to 10:30. Good luck to you there. The wind's going to be calm, becoming southeast around 5 this afternoon. So those are your chances of getting a good fish. Now, here's what we got when it comes to the tropics today. We got two systems out there. This looks as though it's going to go east, a 10% chance. This coming off the coast of Africa and the Atlantic, a 20% chance. As you can see, it could very well turn toward Florida on the eastern coastline or make its way into the Gulf. It's too early to say. We'll be watching this over the next few days to see what it does. Let's go back now and pull up and take a look at our radar and see what all we have to offer with the big wide world of weather. We've got fog in northwestern Mississippi, up in the Delta there as you get into Tunica, just across that Tennessee line. Some fog there, dense fog advisory. A little bit of fog showing up here in Alabama around Lenox. And as we get over here in Douglasville, Charleston, South Carolina, look at this along the coast. You can't see. Savannah, it'll be moving in on you before long. Athens, Georgia's got a little bit, even up in Asheville, we've got fog in that area as well as Charlottesville. Murfreesboro, Nash Vegas. There's so many folks now in Nashville. I cringe thinking about passing through there. Boy, y'all got some traffic nowadays in Nashville. Fog is in the area. Be extra careful if you're in those areas today. See if we got any rain anywhere as we back out and we look at this. Jefferson City and up in this area right there around Missouri a little bit. And a tiny bit as we go here to the Gulf, as we see some showers south of Biloxi out on the coast there, south of Mobile. Maybe you'll get a sprinkle there as well. That's a look at the forecast this morning as we begin our day. Already about 9 till we're going live in about 4 minutes as Odie comes in to join me. It's going to be fun. And again, we can't do any of this without you. We sure wish you'll join us. We'll be back in a few moments doing that. Wesley, good morning there. I'm going to go do a rain dance. I think we all need to do that, don't we? Oh, let's see here. Fake fall. You're right, LaWanda. This is the fake one. It will be on into the a couple of months before we actually get a good fall weather. Looking forward to it, though. We'll be right back as we begin your day at the Scotty Ray Report live at 7.